Okay, so here's my first attempt at a voiceover. Just before I get going with what I got going on the screen here, I didn't get the entire workout for July 1st, 2025. Prior to this conditioning piece, I did a 12-minute EMOM. A 15-minute EMOM. Minute 1, back squat at 5. Minute 2, minute 2 is box jumps for 8, and then minute 3 is a rest and then repeat. And I did that for 15 minutes, every minute on the minute. Right here, this conditioning piece is Russian kettlebell swings to wall balls to handstand push-ups, 10 down to 1. So you'll do 10 Russian kettlebell swings. I did mine at 70 pounds. 10 wall ball at 20 pounds, and then the handstand push-ups. Those are what they are. My first set of 10, each movement right here. Really, all I was thinking during this whole, really sets 10, 9, 8, and 7 was not to get completely blown up. I haven't done a workout like this in a long time, very long time, and so trying to get back in the swing of things, no pun intended, but trying to get back in the swing of things is just my goal right now. I'm trying to do this 30-day challenge with myself, trying to make sure that I can create these habits again so I can get back to the fitness level that I was and hopefully beyond. But the set of 9 right here was very similar to the set of 10. One thing I want to point out with the wall balls is you can really tax yourself out with the wall balls. You got to be, you can go full on dummy and just try and muscle it up there every time, but you got to be efficient with your movements here. Notice how when I throw the ball, I relocate my hands. Well, you can't see it after that set, but I'll point it out again once I start my next set. It's very efficient. Really, all these movements it's really important that you're efficient with all these movements. The handstand push-ups, in order to keep yourself stable, you need to have your hands slightly outside the frame of your body, not directly underneath you. This will allow you to be more stable. You see I have a slight arch in my back, and this just enables me to stay upright throughout the movement. Luckily, with the handstand push-ups, I was able to stay unbroken with pretty much every set with those. That's always been a strong movement for me. Onto sets of 8 with the Russian kettlebell swing. A Russian kettlebell swing is where the kettlebell comes right above your chin. Really, my cue is somewhere between my nose and my chin. And you want to be sure that you're not completely muscling it up with your shoulders. You want to keep your hips in the mix. Now, back to the wall ball. If my out of shape self can catch his breath real quick. Right here, I go into a front squat with the ball. I clean it, I throw it up, and I didn't do it there. I didn't do it there. I didn't do it there. I'm kind of not really thinking, I guess, at this point. Some people live by this, some people don't. You can toss the ball up like that and kind of treat it like a layup or a jump shot. But I feel it is important to relocate your hands after every throw, because when you do that, you're able to catch the ball in a lower position, and your arms don't have to travel as much. So it's something to be mindful of when you're doing the wall balls, just hand positioning throughout the movement. I will say on the handstand push-ups, every set, when I got to roughly probably 2 to 3 reps, in the last 2 or 3 reps of each set, my shoulders would get toast, and I would transition more using my arms to stabilize myself throughout the movement. That's just because I'm not where I need to be with that movement yet. Building stability back. Okay, here we go. Set of 7. My arms are too straight. I might, maybe it's because of the angle of the camera, I'm not really sure, but my arms are too straight there. You want to have a slight bend, like an obtuse angle from your, above your elbow and below your elbow. Obtuse being more than 90 degrees. There's your geometry lesson for the day. Back to the wall balls. These were probably the worst out of the entire conditioning piece. One thing I am pleased of is my squat depth is pretty solid here, and I'm able to stay upright throughout every rep, and that's really important too. You want to create as much of a straight line as you can from the ground all the way up to the top of the wall. And again, that goes back to being efficient. I look like I'm going to throw up, but I'm not. I'm just contemplating life. Here we go. Set of 7. Oops. Okay, I lost my balance. Really, you just got to throw your feet over your head. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come on. 7. It helps being short and stubby. If you notice, I'm not wearing shoes here. That's not because I'm like, being shoeless during your workout, that makes you tougher and that makes your feet stronger and all. No, the reason why I don't have shoes, I left them at home. I ran off to work and I forgot to grab my my workout kicks. So, and I was well aware too, if I dropped a kettlebell on my foot, it was going to be game over. So, had to be mindful not to go full dummy on that. But yeah, that's no fashion statement. I forgot my shoes. Now, I will say, this is probably the first time that I can remember working out without shoes. I was connected to the ground pretty well. That's, you can take that literally, or like, I mean it from like a feel standpoint. Like, I felt really strong from the ground up. I don't know if that was because of me being barefoot or that was because maybe I'm getting stronger. I'd like to think it's because I'm getting stronger, but I don't know. Hunched over again. Boy, I was aware of like how long I was staying hunched over. Right here was too long. This set of 6 was just brutal, but I told myself once I get past the set of 6, 5 down to 1, should be a little bit easier. Good grief, what am I doing? Wow. Okay. I'm not sure. Maybe it's because I'm stubby. I don't know. If anybody watching this, do I need to have more bend in my from my bicep to my elbow there? Like, does that angle need to be more like a right angle? I don't know. Will that help my movement? I've always felt strong having my hands where they're at right there, but I've always wondered, is that just me, or is that can I be more efficient there too? You still can't see my elbow or like the angle. Maybe it's the camera. I don't know. I probably didn't have the kettlebell in the correct position whenever I was throwing it up. It looks like I'm throwing up right now. Here we go. Number 5, right there. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not really sure what the height is on that 10 up there at the top of the wall. As you can see, I threw it a little bit too hard up there and I kind of boogered up some of the ceiling. I knocked it out of the frame some. Oopsie. But I will say, the one thing I could probably take away from this the most is I need to be more mentally tough. And I mean, that's the case with a lot of us, just because, you get winded and you get taxed, and, between trying to catch your breath and just you try to also create a pace for yourself, but a lot of times I feel like my pace it can be faster, you know, especially on these like lower sets, like sets 5 through 1 here. I could have went a lot faster. I know I could have. In my head right now, I'm just trying to survive, and that's not how it needs to be. I'm not saying it needs to be complete red line, but at the same, ooh, that probably wouldn't count it right there. Ooh, that was close too, man. Somebody getting lazy. But yeah, being mentally tough towards the end of the workout is crucial. That's the difference between, I mean, you know, it's a matter of seconds really, but you know, even if it's a 1 second, you know, even if you have a better time and it's 1 second better, that's still improvement. But I know that I probably could have done a lot better than what I did. My time came out to be 12 minutes and 50 seconds. Not the greatest. You know, looking back on this now, and again, this is why I'm doing this, but looking back on this now, just the time spent hunched over and the time spent, you know, kind of feeling like, man, I'm feeling it. I could have gone harder. Now here's 3 down to 1. I did my 3 there. Do I just pick the ball straight up? Yep. Okay, that's good. You know, I had it in my mind too. Man, it do not break hardly any from these last 3 sets, and I'm pretty sure I do going into the handstand push-ups. Nope, none there. 1. This is kind of hard to watch though. I know at one point I would have been able to just fly through this. 1, 2. Yeah, my arms are definitely too straight. I'm using too much shoulder. That's probably why I'm as taxed as I am. Also, whenever I was doing the kettlebell swings, my shoulders were way too hunched over. They need to be upright more. So that'll just allow my hips to be more involved in the movement, which results in me being less tired. Okay. 2 reps here. 1, 2. Okay, now. I should have been gassed up for this last, you know, whatever. Yeah, my best one was the last one. Not really, but it felt the most powerful. No need to conserve energy, Zach. Just throw it up. Okay. Anyways, if you have questions or comments about this workout, feel free to hit me up in the comments section. Also, this workout is on my Instagram page, so if you want to check it out, feel free to do so. See you guys.